This is SMO, and I have a thing about supernatural events. Some of you may have heard about the San Pedro haunting. If you didn't, then you should Google it. It was an event almost as infamous as the Amityville Horror. I was unlucky enough to be on the periphery of the incident and got involved quite by accident. I had known and worked with cameraman Barry Conrad on many different occasions. I even had an amusing run-in with him only a few years ago when we were both hired to cover the same celebrity event. I would edit some of my early video projects at his apartment editing facility in the valley. I was working on one of my projects when he played for me a terrified phone message from one of his clients.
I'm not staying here, Barry. I'm out of here. I gotta get out of here. I can't stay here.
Something horrible was happening, and I never heard a more frightened voice in my life as she described how she and her family were being assaulted by some unknown force and that she needed for him to come over. I was raised in a home plagued by supernatural phenomenon, so hearing about her situation was not at all comforting for me.
Jackie?
What?
We're gonna come down and get you. Okay?
Okay.
Later, as I lay awake that night, too unsettled to sleep, I listened when my answering machine clicked on, and I heard Barry relay the most terrifying message I ever received. It was something to the effect of, "We were shooting a haunting when Jeff was almost killed. Call me tomorrow."
What happened?
I was not going to call him.
Today is Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's August 29th.
Then, early the next morning, our mutual friend and co-worker, Brian Moore, calls and talks me into joining Barry on a return trip to that house of horrors. Well, what the hell? What's the worst that could happen? Right? When we arrived, I operated camera. Barry followed me with the gear, and Brian did commentary. I could not believe what we'd walked into. There was blood plasma oozing from the walls. When we entered the attic, I saw the spike that Jeff was nearly hung from. I really had very little to do with the case outside of the occasional updates. When the woman and her family moved out of the house, things got much worse, and you will have to find out from the book or Barry Conrad himself about what happened at the seance. That was some wicked stuff. My final encounter came long after famed parapsychologist Barry Taft came on board. I was one of a few witnesses when an actual psychic was hired to get a bead on our subject. The psychic reported nothing. Then we went back to the studio and took a look at the video footage. The camera never lies.